Hello, welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I changed my mind. I am going to keep using either my headphone microphone or the face camera microphone. Those are the two options that I have for a microphone right now. I do not see much of a reason to change my microphone right now because one, not many people watch these videos anyway. I don't get a lot of viewers, so if I don't get people, then no one really cares. I can't be a different volume of voice with these videos if no one even watches them. No one knows that the voice is different if they don't even watch it. And then another reason is I am working on the movie that I want to do, and I don't want to do the voice part of it yet because I do want to get the animating done first, and then later I'll do the voices after I've gotten done with the animating. So I should probably do all the animating first, and then after that I'll get the microphone. So that's what I would like to do, but maybe I could get a new microphone later while I'm reading this, but the point is right now I have time to read it, so I would like to go through it as much as I can. That is what I would like to do, because I have the time to read right now. So I think I should just do it. If I want to get a new microphone later, before I'm done reading this visual novel, I might. But if I can get through the whole thing, I'll just get through the whole thing. Now I'm at this choice. I picked offer encouragement and go to the roof. I just didn't feel like helping her. Okay, this time I'll help her. Help Sachi. Alright, how about I help as well?
お気持ちはとても嬉しいのですが、これは私が頼まれた仕事ですし。
What? Again with this? I understand that you feel a sense of responsibility, but it's not like anyone's saying that you have to get the job done all by yourself, right?
それはその通りなのですが。
I'll take these. Preempting Sachi's response, I grab a few cardboard boxes from her towering stack and pull them away, revealing the girl behind. Maybe you're reluctant to bother me, but that's all the more reason to let me help out.
それはどういう意味でしょう?
In this situation, just watching my classmate totter off blindly would bother me a lot more than carrying a few boxes.
なるほどです。
Of course, if you think I'd just slow you down, I can reconsider.
それは心配いりません。私の体は風見さんを欲しています。
Maybe it is, but I think she could have put that in a slightly less weird way. In other words, you don't have any further objections?
はい。では多目的教室までお願いします。
Yeah. Can I just pile the boxes up around here?
はい、そこで大丈夫だと思います。
After obtaining Sachi's confirmation, I stacked the cardboard boxes next to the teacher's podium. By the time I finished, Sachi has already opened a few of the boxes she was carrying and is beginning to unpack the books and worksheets contained within. What, did they ask you to put all this away as well?
いえ、その指示は受けていないですが、授業が始まれば必ず講師の方がやることになると思うので。
By the way, her theme here is so pure and sweet. I love it. Seems she's deliberately going above and beyond the call of duty in order to make life easier for our instructors. You really are considerate about stuff like this.
いえ、そんなことはありません。
I think that's the last of it.
はい、風見さんのおかげで予定より早く終えることができました。ありがとうございます。
After we finally complete our work, Sachi straightens her posture and lowers her head to me in a polite bow. Not a big deal, but it seems we've only got another 10 minutes until the end of the lunch period.
風見さん、お昼は取らなくてもいいんですか？
Missing one meal isn't a problem for me. I was more thinking about you, Sachi. Can you get through the afternoon on an empty stomach?
私はここで食べようと思っていました。
That's all well and good, but what she plans to eat is something of a mystery to me. She isn't carrying anything like a lunchbox. Come to think of it, it's been a while now since I entered this school, but I don't think I've ever seen Sachi spread out her lunch at her desk. Incidentally, Sachi, do you bring your own lunchbox to school?
もしかして私の食生活が気になってしまいますか？
No, it's just that I don't think I've ever seen you eating in the classroom or anything.
それはおかしいです。私はちゃんと風見さんの前でお昼を食べていましたよ。
Really? If I remember correctly, you're always spending the lunch period reading something or writing in your notebook.
それは困りました。もしかしたら風見さんは頭の中で萌え萌えキュンな小峰幸像を作り上げてしまっているのかもしれません。
What?
私、とどまることを知らない風見さんの想像力が怖いです。
If the day ever comes that such a thought crosses my mind, I think that'll be the day I go bungee jumping off the roof of a tall building without a cord. What are you eating today then?
これです。
With those words, Sachi slowly reaches her hand inside her uniform at the bus. Hold it, Sachi. What do you think you're doing with that hand?
胸の谷間です。
That kind of lunch fits between your breasts.
ですが、天音さんが以前、女の子のここは秘密のポケットなのよと言っていましたし。
What the heck? Does that woman intend to remake Sachi in her own image? Is this school going to end up as our facility for the mass production of Amane clones? Well, whatever. I'll close my eyes. If you're really taking something out of there, get it over with.
わかりました。
As Sachi nods, I close my eyes.
もういいですよ、風見さん。
When I open them again, Sachi's holding a rectangular biscuit of some sort in her hand. Some kind of off-the-shelf portable rations?
いえ、買ってきたものではなく手作りです。
This is your work?
はい、オーブンレンジさえあれば割と簡単に作れるので。
Well, I guess so. At a glance, it doesn't seem to be much more than a baked lump of wheat flour and butter. I see. These are certainly compact enough that a lunchbox isn't necessary.
しかも本を読みながらでもお掃除をしながらでも食べられます。とても便利です。
That would explain why I don't have any recollection of her spreading out a lunch on her desk, but if you're eating this stuff every day, isn't your diet going to be pretty poorly balanced? What do you do for vitamins?
それを解決するために各種サプリメントを砕いて混ぜ込んだものをこちらに用意してあります。
Right on cue, she produces a number of brightly colored shortbread biscuits for my inspection. I feel as though I'm watching a baking segment on some particularly deranged cooking show.
右からセサミ、マルチビタミン、ベジタブル、赤マムシです。
I'm a little curious about what you've gotten the one named after a poisonous snake, but first of all, are these things tasty?
そうですね。フランス軍個人用戦闘糧食並みの味にはなっていると思います。
I come perilously close to asking her whether she's ever actually eaten an RCIR, but manage to restrain myself at the last moment.
よければ風見さんも食べますか？
Do you have enough to share?
はい、簡単にたくさん用意できるので急なお客様への対応もバッチリです。
I'm sure the housewives of the world will be overjoyed to hear of your discovery.
ちなみに今朝焼いたサクサクくんと1日寝かせたしっとりさん、どちらがいいですか？
What an excruciatingly difficult choice. The two of us sit on the teacher's platform in the otherwise empty classroom, biting into our homemade shortbread. There isn't anything logically wrong with our actions under the circumstances, but for some reason this feels less like a school lunch and more like a chow break in the middle of a long march to the battlefield. As I'm pondering these matters, Sachi continues to silently and steadily carry her food to her mouth. Maybe it's because I've been eating with Amane and Makina a lot lately, but something about this situation feels oddly unsatisfactory. So, enjoying that?
はい、今日の分も美味しく焼けていると思います。
Yeah, I'm impressed. Put these on a shelf and I think they could pass for something from a bakery.
恐縮です。
When I glance over, I notice that Sachi's currently chewing on a biscuit specked with pebbly black bits. What flavor is that one?
ペコメです。
Sesame, yeah, it looks pretty decent.
食べてみますか？
With those words, she casually sticks her face in my direction, the half-eaten shortbread biscuit dangling out of her mouth. Okay, well, if some woman sitting on a park bench next to me suddenly pulled this sort of stunt, I would probably interpret it as an indicative of a severe chemical imbalance. But we're talking about Sachi here. I doubt she's even aware of how weird this might seem. Most likely, she simply doesn't have any more of the sesame biscuits to share. Are you seriously telling me to take a bite like this?
アムレコ
My younger classmate offering me a half-eaten biscuit directly from her mouth, softly mumbles, "Don't you want some?" Usually this would be a pretty saturating sweet situation, but when she's this completely nonchalant about the whole thing, the mood is pretty much non-existent. Fine, close your eyes at least. This will be awkward otherwise.
風見さん、見かけによらずウブですね。ちょっと意外です。
Or maybe you're just bizarrely indifferent. Ever think of that? As I'm offering my attempt at a retort, Sachi gently closes her eyes. I take a bite off the biscuit, carefully leaving a decent buffer zone. The familiar nutty flavor of sesame instantly spreads across my tongue.
どうですか？個人的にはかなりおすすめのフレーバーなのですが。
Opening her eyes, Sachi asks for my thoughts in a tone of keen curiosity. Yeah, not bad at all. The simple, familiar taste of the biscuit, for one thing. The up-close view of Sachi with her eyes closed, for another. I don't think I can complain on either count. Those are my honest thoughts.
風見さんにも気に入ってもらえてよかったです。
Now that I think about it, I've known Sachi a while now, and I didn't even know about her unusual lunch habits, let alone her birthday. It seems my knowledge of my classmates is even shallower than I realized.
風見さん。
When I look to my side, Sachi's watching me with an anxious expression on her face.
もしかしてあまりお口に合いませんでしたか？
No, I think I would classify your shortbread as tasty. As portable food goes, I've even plenty of truly vile field rations. It would be rude to even compare real military food to this mild, pleasant stuff.
それにしては怖いくらいに真剣な顔をされていましたけど。
I should be used to it by now, but Sachi's perceptiveness still takes me by surprise at times.
もし洗濯物や掃除のことで悩んでいるなら私でもお力になれると思いますが。
No, domestic chores aren't involved.
では
Well, to make it short, I was thinking that I'd like to become better friends with you, Sachi.
もしかして私今夜のお誘いを受けたのでしょうか？
What?
仲良くするという言葉にはそういう意味が含まれている場合があると本で学んだ記憶があります。
I should be used to it by now, but Sachi's talent for seriously warped misinterpretations of my words still takes me by surprise at times. Yes, sometimes there can be a nuance like that, but that's not what I meant just now. Look, we're classmates, right? I just thought it might be nice to learn a little more about you eventually, that's all.
なるほど、そういう意味だったんですか。
Yeah.
それなら私も風見さんと仲良くしたいです。
That effect?
はい。
There's a natural smile on Sachi's face as she speaks. If one of my classmates can speak those words to me with an expression like that, maybe I've begun to find a place for myself in this school. When I glance back at Sachi, she's already returned her attention to her meal. She's our class representative and the quiet peacemaker of our group, but above all else, she's something of an unpredictable girl. I'm aware that I don't understand her very well. Even so, I fully meant what I said to her just now. Everyone at the school may be a special case, but surely a little mutual understanding isn't too much to hope for. Anyway, thanks for the meal. Unfortunately, even as I mumbled these words to myself, Amani's unwieldy mass of a lunch. Okay, it stopped right here. As the second recess period of the day begins, a highly suspicious ritual unfolds before my eyes. Hey Sakaki, our classmate seems to be using her twin tails as antennas in an attempt to intercept human brainwaves.
いつものことでしょ?
Well, maybe not, but that strikes me as a problem in its own right.
いでよ、大魔人サチ! パパラパ、お呼びでしょうか、みちる様?
Completely indifferent to our whispers, Machiro finishes chanting her incantation. A powerful djinn promptly answers the call.
ああ、それってランプのせいだっけ? そうよ。ただサチに用事を頼むだけでもバリエーションを出してかないとと思ってね。その必要あるか？あるわよ。昨日だって今のやりとりを成功させるために2時間もリハーサルをやったんだから。そのほとんどは参考にしようとした某アニメ DVD にみちる様が見入られてしまったからなのですけど。ああ、そう。で、サチ、あんた化粧水とかも常備してたりする？はい、それなら確か以前あまねさんに化粧を教えてもらった時。
As soon as she understands Machiro's request, Sachi trots off to her oversized storage locker in the back of the classroom.
お待たせしました。これですよね。そうそう、ありがとう。ってそうだ。ついでにパフも持ってない？パフパフするやつ。持っているといえば持っているのですが、みちる様にご満足いただけるかどうかは。
With those words, Sachi grasps her chest with both hands. ほうほう、これはつつましくも確かな柔らかさが。私が言ってるのはパフパフじゃなくてパフよ、コットンパフ。あ、そちらの方でしたか。同音異義語は難しいです。いやいや、あんたがややこしくしてるだけだってば。 Somebody asks Sachi for a favor, leading to a subtle but bizarre misinterpretation. In the end, someone heaves an exasperated sigh. This too is hardly anything out of the ordinary. I've seen something of the sort so many times since coming to this school that it's practically part of the scenery by now. But when you stop and think about it,
おう、何黄昏てやがる坊主。
I'm not brooding. Also, I'm not your son.
でも背中が泣いているように見えたのよ。
I suppose you could compare heavy sweat soaking through the back of your shirt to crying, but I'm not currently
話が脱線しかけてるけど、今さっちゃんのこと目で追ってたわよね。
I don't mind you butting into the conversation, but do me a favor and keep your boobs to yourself.
考え事してる時でもダメか。
If you want to take me by surprise, you're going to need more dramatic measures. I'd recommend knocking me unconscious, maybe sleeping pills or something of the sort.
その手があったか。
Of course, if she actually tried mixing some drug into my food, I'm confident I'd notice 8 times out of 10.
でもさ、なんでさっちゃんのこと見てたの？
Well, just thinking about how familiar that routine of hers is by now.
そう言われるとちょっと耳が痛いかな。
Why's that?
なんていうかな。私たちってさっちゃんの真面目さに甘えすぎちゃってるところがあるから。それを傍から見たらひどいことしてるように見えちゃうこともあると思うんだよね。でもユージにも分かっててほしいのは、私たちにそういう意図は全くないってこと。
私が遊び相手にサッチンを選ぶのもそうだけど、チルチルだってサッチンとはマブダチなのよさ。
So you're saying that faithful servant routine's an expression of friendship or something?
お兄ちゃんなら見ればわかると思うのだけど、サッチンは全然嫌がったりしていないのよ。
Well, I guess not. Compared to the others, Michiru tends to request menial gopher-style errands pretty frequently, but Sachi never shows any sign of irritation. On the contrary, she often overflows with gratitude, as if being given work offers her satisfaction in itself. But objectively speaking, a charitable attitude that extreme has to be considered downright abnormal. Pretty interesting girl in that sense.
ちょっと、まさかユージ、さっちゃんのこと。
I see where you're going with this, but that's not what I meant.
そっか。
But still, comedian Sachi,
お呼びでしょうか、風見さん。
impressive job picking up on my muttering, but no, I did not.
そうですか。
Sorry about that.
いえ、年頃の男性が性的に興味のある異性の名をつぶやいてしまうのはよくあることだと聞いています。
Don't lump me together with pure-hearted youths who can find joy in a crumpled brown magazine discovered under the boardwalk. Yeah, sexual magazine.
はい、
Yeah.
風見さんがそうおっしゃるならそうします。
Right then. This is strange as well. When I offer a retort to some weird statement of Sachi's, she'll fully accept my rebuke, basically overwriting her previous opinion. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was reading that right. True, she often mumbles something like, "Is that so?" at first, but that's nothing more than a rhetorical question or request for clarification, not an attempt to argue. Roughly speaking, Sachi's responses to our orders run along a fixed course from confirmation to consent and finally implementation.
でもサチって前よりちょっと変になったわよね。ああ、やっぱりミチルもそう思う？だってね、前からトンチンカンなところはあったけど、下着姿で登校してくることなんてなかったし。
So what brought on the change?
はあ？あんた何言ってるのよ。そんなの一つしかないじゃない。そうね。
The two nod to each other and four narrowed eyes focus on my face. Well, counting a certain somebody who's begun to stare contemptuously in my direction without even lifting her chin from her hand, I guess it's actually 6. Sorry, but passionate gazes aren't going to get you what you want. Try flowers in a box of chocolates.
それがよりにもよってこんなのでしょ。さすがに今の返しは言いたかったかな。
In short, they want to say this is my fault. Then again, I am the first male student in this school. In that sense, I'm acting as a foreign element added to a relatively stable mixture. Since Sachi's been forced to adjust to living in a dorm with me, I guess some changes in her behavior and attitude wouldn't be surprising. Well, I won't deny my role in this.
お兄ちゃんにしてはなかなか殊勝な発言なのよ。
Newcomers have to keep their heads down after all.
何を今さら。
I feel like I heard a cranky spirit griping about something in the corner of the classroom, but I'm going to say I was just hearing things. But precisely because I'm a newcomer, there's a specific aspect of our class representative's behavior I'm beginning to wonder about. Have to say though, I've been here a couple months now, but I haven't seen Sachi refuse a request even once. The instant I put my observation into words, Amane's eyes open wide in shock. To rephrase, it seems like Sachi's dictionary doesn't include the word impossible. I didn't mean anything else by it.
あ、ごめん。ユージの言ってることは分かってたんだけど。改めて考えてみると、さっちゃんが頼み事を断ったことってあったかなと思って。
What? You haven't seen it happen either, Amane?
うん、多分そうだと思うけど。ねえ、マキナ。あんたはさっちゃんが何かを断ってるとこ見たことある？
サッチンが断ってるとこ？それはじゃあチルチルはサッチンがお願いを断ったとこ見たことある？
え？そんなの普通に考えたらあるに決まって。ない。
Even Machiro, who seems to have provided the largest volume of requests by a significant margin.
じゃあユミコは？あんた最初からこの学園にいたんだから、さすがに1回くらいは見たことあるでしょ？小峰さんがここに来たのはあなたより後なんだから、期間的な条件は同じでしょ？ ことは見たことないわ。
In other words, despite living in close proximity to her for more than a half a year, none of you have ever seen Sachi say no to someone?
ちょっと待って、それが本当だったらすごいことじゃない？
すげえよ、サッチ何者だよ。
Makina's reaction is actually pretty understandable. Even if, by some chance, everyone's forgotten an occasion or two when Sachi did say no, the strong consensus must mean she's gone along with their requests an overwhelming majority of the time. Usually you'd only expect that kind of self-sacrifice from the Holy Mother reincarnate or a very well-trained soldier.
もしかして私に関するお話をされているのでしょうか？
Well, calling it a discussion might be a bit of an overstatement, but
ようやくすると、サッチンは誰とでもする便利な女ってことなのよさ。
全然違う。
いで、そんなに力強くされたら耳から脳汁が流れ出ちゃうのよさ。
ほらほら、ビビリのユミコが怖がるから、そういう例え禁止。
うえー。
okay, moving on. I've got one question I want to ask you, Sachi.
何でしょうか？
Can you remember refusing any requests since you came to the school, even one?
そうですね。
お、唐突に電源オフ？
すみません。今自分の記憶を検索していたのですが、私の覚えている限りではないと思います。ってことは本当に今まで一度も。
私たちのお願いを断ったことがないってこと？感動した。今までありがとう、サチ。
ほんとほんと。
さすがクラスの委員長さんなのよさ。
Machir and the others abruptly swarm around Sachi, surprised and enthusiastic to discover such an impressive feat so close at hand. They resemble nothing so much as an eccentric soccer team, mobbing a defender for scoring the come-from-behind goal in extra time. They have a good bond. On the other hand, the hero in question doesn't quite seem to understand why she's getting the star treatment all of a sudden. You can practically see the question marks floating above her head. Bit late in the game, but it seems they've finally taken note of your meritorious service, Sachi.
功績ですか？
そうそう、サチって実はできる子だったんだなって。
ある意味、そこら辺にいるメイドさんよりメイドさんっていうのかな。そうでしょうか。
だってほら、この前だってジャケットがこんなのって言っただけで私が欲しかった CD 手に入れてくれたし。
あの時はインターネット上でいろんな質問ができるサイトに投稿したら、親切な人が商品名と売っている場所を教えてくれたんです。
呂布の知恵袋。
私が本物の地域限定コシヒカリってどんな味なんだろうってつぶやいた時も次の日持ってきてくれたわよね。まだパッケージ前の状態で。
はい、上越新幹線で片道1時間45分、現地農家の小林さんから直接譲っていただきました。
She really does all of this. If it took an hour 45 to get out there, we're probably talking about the Chuetsu rice growing region. Girl must have been wandering around way out in the sticks.
じゃあゾンビがうじゃうじゃって出てくるゲームの海外限定版はどうやって手に入れてくれたのよ。
それは eDay っていう海外のオークションで未開封の商品を見つけたんだよ。
そんなことまでやっていたなんて。
と言っても私自身が何か特別なことをしてるわけじゃないですし。
Apparently, Sachi's finally caught on to the fact that she's being praised, as her cheeks have grown slightly red. She did mention that Amani and Michiru haven't been complimenting her as much as they used to, so this sudden barrage of appreciation might be fairly enjoyable. Nothing particularly special, huh? True, our community is small scale and relatively isolated from the outside world, but she's offered her help to everyone here quite literally, without fail. That alone would be pretty remarkable by almost any standard, but Sachi seems to be completely oblivious to this fact. Of course, when you hear never once, I think it's only human nature to feel a little interest in seeing the streak broken. I guess it might go without saying, but the laundry facilities in our dormitory are pretty high class. The machines are state-of-the-art combination washer-dryers, so long as you can handle pushing a button, the rest is pretty much automatic. My attitude toward housework has always been indifferent at best, but these things still make my life noticeably easier. For example, I'm currently heading to the 3rd floor, secure in the knowledge I can get my laundry more or less taken care of in the time it takes my rice to cook.
Mawaru 地球と一緒にドラムが回る。そいつを見てたら目も回る。いいやひ。
But when I reach the top of the stairs, I find Sachi in front of the machines, singing a funky avant-garde tune to herself as the laundry tumbles around inside. If you've lost your way in life, I'll lend an ear to your troubles.
どちらかというと風見さんの言葉の意図を把握するのに困っているのですが。
Alright, then what was with that song? The song just now?
あれは作詞作曲イリス・マキナ、編曲周防あまねによる心の選択、乙女心は潜在いらずという歌です。
I see, understood. I'll buy that. The only people I can picture coming up with a song like that are A, drunken office workers lying around a train station at 2:30 in the morning, and B, Irisu Makina.
ちなみに今日の洗濯物は下着が2枚とメイド服が2着です。
And you're telling me this why?
老婆心ながら風見さんが知りたそうな顔をされていたので。
appreciate the thought, but that was your mistake.
すみません。風見さんほどの人なら回転するドラムの中身を視認することも容易でしたよね。
Sachi, my friend, I'm genuinely curious. Just what kind of skills do you think I've been developing? Okay, let's just change the subject. Since you're up here watching your laundry, I guess you already ate dinner? I think that's supposed to be washing.
はい。あとはお洗濯とお風呂に入って一日もおしまいというところです。
Washing and watching. I don't know. I see a whole some rhythm of life you've got there. Very much the model student.
ちなみに風見さんはもう食べられたんですか？
No, not yet. Why?
聞くところによると夕食はなるべく21時前にとった方がいいらしいですよ。
Apparently it's harder to gain weight that way, yes.
すでにご存知だったんですね。さすが風見さんです。
More importantly, Sachi,
はい、なんでしょう。
can I go ahead and smack you at this point?
強引なのは嫌いじゃないのですが、私としてはちゃんと手順を踏んでほしいと言いますか。
Once again, I find myself wondering whether you're even a human being.
不思議です。なぜでしょうか。
Take a look at yourself and think about it, specifically what you're wearing.
下着姿です。
Yes, yes, you are. Tell me, are you the type who finds sexual excitement in exposing yourself in front of other people? I mean, it's your fault you walked in on her while she's doing laundry.
いえ、違います。
Then why did you take off your clothes?
それはこれからお風呂に入ろうと思ったからです。
I see. This room's right next to the grand bath, so you're trying to make efficient use of the time spent waiting for your laundry?
ご明察です。
That said, efficiency isn't really enough of a reason to justify this personal strip show, but should I even bother trying to explain that to her?
風見さんも入りますか？
In what? Your flashing enthusiast club?
いえ、そちらではなくお風呂の方のお話です。
Well, I believe I've just received an unambiguous invitation to take a bath with a classmate of the opposite gender. But as I understand it, for men and women beyond the age of puberty, such an act requires either a financial transaction or a certain degree of pre-existing intimacy. Sachi and I are mere classmates. We're not in a relationship, and we're not blood-related siblings. I want to think it's natural for me to feel a little dubious here.
風見さんさえ良ければなので。
Let's see. I don't find the idea particularly objectionable, but I'll pass this time.
そうですか。
For one thing, I'm currently in the middle of making dinner.
すごいです。風見さんはすでに時間の有効活用を考えていたんですね。
Well, yeah, more or less. For another thing, I have a feeling it'd be difficult to make up an excuse if one of the others walked in on us.
では、それはまた別の機会にということで。
Yeah, sounds about right. Enjoy the bath.
はい。風見さんも私の入浴姿を置かずにご飯を食べる作業を頑張ってください。
What an unusually kind girl. Maybe a smack upside the head would have been best after all? Looks like it's about time. After quickly double checking the clock on the wall, I leave my room. When I reach the 3rd floor, I find the laundry room empty. This school has a laundry room in it. I don't have a laundry room in my school that I went to as a kid. Of course, since there's only 6 boarders in this dormitory, that's hardly unusual in itself, but as I bend forward to retrieve my dried laundry, I notice something slightly odd about this picture. Sachi left her laundry in the machine? These machines take approximately 70 minutes to wash and dry a load of clothing. When Sachi headed off to take her bath, the display on her machine read somewhere around 15 minutes. In other words, it's been sitting here ready for nearly an hour. My master once told me young women love their long baths, but 70 minutes is a little much. And it's hard to believe Sachi would have returned without taking her laundry, especially since we were just talking about efficiency. Above all else, I don't think I've ever seen her leave a job so sloppily unfinished before. Something feels wrong about this. Even if Sachi really is just taking a long soak, it shouldn't be a problem if I call out to her through the door. When I make my way into the changing room, Sachi's slippers quickly catch my eye. Hard to picture her wandering off barefoot for no good reason, which would mean... Sachi, it's me. Are you in there? I try calling out from near the door, but there's no response. I can't make out the sound of running water either, so it doesn't seem like she's in the middle of a shower. In that case, I think immediate action's called for. Sachi, if you're in here, respond. This time I shout Sachi's name loudly, but there's still nothing that sounds like her reply. What's that? But when I give the room a careful survey, I notice a small head poking out of the water next to the far window. And she's mumbling quietly to herself, counting something? Puzzled, I approach Sachi along the edge of the bath. A few meters away, I finally notice that her eyes aren't open. Sachi! The instant I understand that Sachi's muttering deliriously, I reach into the warm water and pull her out of the bath. Her expression blank and vacant, Sachi continues to mumble a string of numbers. From the symptoms, it seems very clear that she fainted from overall exposure to the sauna-like temperature. I take an emergency rest and recovery periods in order. With that decided, I haul Sachi's naked body out of the bathroom, then carefully carry her down the stairs to the 2nd floor. Weird. Excuse me, coming in. In consideration to the room's owner, I give approximately half a second of advance notice before barging in. Not waiting for permission, I set Sachi down on the bed.
Yuuji?
Sorry, but there's no time to argue right now. Could you get me a bag of ice and a wash bowl sooner rather than later?
今日の音洗面器って。わかった。
Quickly grasping the nature of the situation, Amane runs off to the bathroom without any further questions. Seems bringing Sachi to this room in particular was the right call. About 15 minutes after I brought her to Amane's room, Sachi's breathing settles into the soft, regular rhythm of sleep.
状況はなんとなく理解したけど、一応何があったか説明してくれる？
Long story short, Sachi fainted in the grand bath, and I found her there.
それで私の部屋に連れてきたと。
Yeah, I figured you'd be the most reliable by far in this sort of situation.
そういうことしれっと言われちゃうと怒れなくなっちゃうんだよね。
Apparently, even Makina can realize that it's not an appropriate time for the usual song and dance. She accepts Amane's warning and quietly plops herself down at Sachi's bedside.
で、サッチンが侵されているスキルスはステージいくつ？
She doesn't have cancer. She just got lightheaded from staying in the bath too long.
それなら一安心なのよ。でも今までこんなことなかったのにどうして急に？
She seemed to be counting something in there. I'd expect someone put a strange idea in her head. Probably Michiru or...
もしかしてマキナ、さっちゃんに何か言った？でも今ギクって自分で言ってたわよね。実は今日のお昼休みに私たちはお風呂に入っても1万数えられる女になろうねって話をして。
As the circumstances come to light, Amane heaves a heavy sigh. It's pretty clear that Sachi took Makina's hyperbole 100% literally and interpreted it as a mandatory new part of her bathing routine. Well, that's going to make her unable to do laundry. So that is not good.
昨日のテレビで今の子供はお風呂の中で100も数えられないご来症のない子供が増えていますって言ってたから。大きくなって社会に出た時、これだからゆとり世代はって上司が灰皿にタバコを押し付けるところは見たくなかったのよさ。その心意気は悪くないけど、さっちゃんの性格は知ってるでしょ？ごめんなさいなのよ。
Since she actually offered a halfway sincere sounding apology for once, Makina seems to be feeling something surprisingly close to genuine remorse. A rare sight indeed. At some point during this exchange, Sachi opened her eyes ever so slightly.
2414
In the next instant, she picks up the count exactly where she left off, like some sort of human time bomb.
ほらマキナ、今のうちにリセット。聞くのよサッチン。お風呂に入るときは必ず1万数えなくてもいいのよさ。っていうか、お
風呂くらい自分の好きなタイミングで出入りしていいんだからね。
わかりました。
As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Sachi's eyes fall shut and her body goes totally limp.
これでひとまずは大丈夫そうね。
So you think that's going to be enough to keep this from happening again?
絶対とは言い切れないけど、私たちは今までこうやって乗り切ってきたから。
In that case, couldn't you have done something about the way she addresses Mature?
ああ、あれだけは特別。どんなにミチルが取り消しって言っても、サッチャはガンとして譲ろうとしないし。
あれはチルチルが悪いのよ。自分で未来永劫とか絶対って念を押しちゃったから。
I see, so she made an over-aggressive attempt at impressing Sachi with her character right off the bat, and it backfired spectacularly.
マミー鳥がマミーになったのよさ。
まあ真面目なのはさっちゃんのいいところだけど、もう少し融通が効いてくれるとありがたいかな。
サッチンはこれでいいのよ。真面目でドジっ子ってところが可愛いんだから。
Somehow, a diligent personality doesn't feel quite sufficient as an explanation for all this.
それじゃあマキナ、私たちは今のうちに新しい氷を作っておこっか。
了解なのよさ。
Energetic as always, Makina patters off to the kitchen ahead of Amane.
ちなみに一度沸騰させたお湯をそのまま使った方が早く氷になることもあるらしいのよ。
ああ、それって無ペンバなんとかって言うんでしょ確か。
Well then, Sachi's. I turn back to the bed to find the maid in question as regain consciousness.
目の前に風見さんがいます。
Yeah, I'm Kazami Yuuji, but more importantly, are you Komine Sachi?
はい、私は小峰幸です。
Seems that she's recovered enough of her wits to offer coherent responses.
それで私はどうしてここに？
You lost consciousness in the Grand Bath. I found you there and brought you to Amane's room for treatment.
そうだったんですか。ご迷惑をおかけしてしまってすみませんでした。
Well, it wasn't much of an inconvenience, really. Wouldn't even qualify as trouble in my book.
そうですか。
My attempt at downplaying the incident seems to have been appropriate, as Sachi smiles in evident relief.
私また風見さんの前で気を失ってしまったん
Yeah,
ですね。
so it seems. I answer Sachi's statement with an artificial attempt at a reassuring smile. Since I'm talking to a dazed invalid, I decided to play along, but I don't remember this ever happening before. I'm not sure where that again is coming from. She must still be pretty out of it, I guess.
目が覚めたサッチン。
マキちゃんにも迷惑をかけたみたいでごめんね。
悪いのは変なことを言った私なのよ。だからサッチンは何も悪くないのよさ。
Sachi's expression grows thoughtful. She seems to be thinking back on the incident and attempting to analyze her behavior. Don't try to think too hard right now. Makina is admitting she's to blame here, so let's leave it at that.
はい、わかりました。
それで具合はどうなのよ。
うん、ちょっと頭がぼーっとするくらいだから大丈夫。
じゃあ早く元気になって私のお尻をペンペンしてくれるのを待ってるのよ。
わかった。
Sachi enters Makina with a gentle smile, but by the end of the conversation, I can see fine beads of sweat running down her face. Okay, that's enough talk for now. Take it easy for a while.
はい。
Bye.